beginning of time, humans have depended on structure or some form of hierarchy where one individual or more is in charge of guiding or leading them. Some leaders are elected by people, while some find other more hostile ways to come to power. Therefore, it is the job of the people to look out for unfit leaders and assure they are taken out of any leading position they may abuse. Deposition is absolutely necessary when such leader puts citizens at risk, disregards the law, and puts their needs above the needs of the people. Action against these leaders must be taken immediately to ensure the safety of the followers. It can be seen throughout historical and modern times, as well as through fictional settings, that those in power who demonstrate these behaviors are dangerous not only to the people they lead, but to other societies as well. An example of this being the infamous play Macbeth, written by William Shakespeare. In this story, Macbeth is foretold by witches that he will be king and decides to take fate into his own hands to ensure that he will come to power. He then murders the king, as well as 5 others he felt threatened by, including children, to climb the hierarchy. As the story progresses, he must force his followers into a war against an army much more powerful and experienced than his. Of course, his intentions only being to cling to his power to the very moment of his death, thus making Macbeth a prime example of a leader that called for deposition long before his passing. His reason for killing was not only unjust but illegal, as well as the war he made his followers fight for him, an act that put citizens through danger, resulting in even more avoidable casualties. Another example within the fictional realm of this is a character from George Orwell's Animal Farm. In the beginning, the story highlights the daily lives of mistreated animals on a farm. After planning a rebellion, the animals overthrow the abusive humans on the farm and take it for their own in hopes of complete equality. The animals soon find out this is an unachievable goal once a pig named Napoleon elects himself into power. He slowly begins to introduce old values that the humans had enforced that made the animals rebel in the first place. He goes on to manipulate the laws the animals had agreed on after they overtook the farm to accompany his wants only. He murders those who speak out against such atrocities and even those without cause, making Napoleon a leader that should have been deposed for the sake of his citizens. And because of the lack of speaking out, once again, there was unnecessary lives lost. Such leaders do not only exist in fictional settings. In modern times, these types of leaders are spread across the globe, each displaying traits of a leader that should be taken out of power. Leaders such as Vladimir Putin, the leader of Russia, and Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of North Korea. Looking at Russia's leader, it can be seen that Putin is a leader that calls for deposition. He often bends the law to get what he wants and lies to the public, one of these times being during the Crimea voting. Instead of allowing the voting process to take its course, he sent unmarked Russian soldiers to interfere with the voters, causing an uprising of violence against his own people. Not only this, but those who opposed his ruling were not permitted to vote, showing that he is a dangerous leader that is not for his people, but only for himself. Kim Jong-un has also taken part in similar offenses. Often viewed as unstable, he has time and time again proven this to be an accurate statement. He threatens attacks of extreme violence against the U.S., in which was retaliated by the U.S. threatening to attack back, therefore putting his citizens in danger of a violent threat he started. Not only this, but like Macbeth, Kim Jong-un came into power by killing those in his way. Although it can be said he took it a step farther, being that these individuals killed were of his own family, including his own brother. Looking at these 4 leaders and how they have lied, killed, and bended the rules to benefit themselves, as well as endangered the public, it can be concluded the next step is deposition. Deciding how a leader should be taken out of power is a difficult task. It can be debated that these leaders should have to face extremities such as execution or even worse. Yet this is unnecessary. Unfit leaders must be taken out of power immediately, but such drastic measures are uncalled for. First and foremost, they should be taken out of their leadership position, then be stripped of any titles or public positions gained during or even prior to their rise of power. This assuring they no longer have any say in public affairs and cannot continue the detrimental impact on society. Although some may argue this way of handling these leaders will not suffice for the crimes they've committed, but using such odious forms of punishment, such as execution, only worsens the situation, making the punisher as culpable of wrong leadership as the actual leader being punished.